This is the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show, and a return to the Garden after a perfect road trip provided none of the comforts of home. Rangers burned by the Flames, 5-1 the final across the street. Hi everyone, welcome to the Delta MSG Studios. John Giannone, Henrik Lundqvist, and Steve Valiquette after the road team comes in and dominates on Garden ice. And Steve, before the game you said, quote, this could be a trap game.
Yeah.
First game back at home after a long road trip. It often is in sports, and boy, the Rangers were trapped.
And I felt like they were going to find a way, because with 15 minutes left in the third period, you're saying, boy, this game feels a lot like Ottawa on Sunday, where they came back and won. It feels a lot like the home opener against Dallas, where they came back and ended up losing in overtime. But look, the Calgary Flames were playing playoff hockey when the Rangers were playing regular season hockey. Calgary's back check was much tighter than the New York Rangers' back check. Their D-zone was much tighter than the Rangers' D-zone. I thought the Rangers played a little bit loose and reckless, thinking it was going to be easy. And maybe this is the first game of the season they learn a lesson. But, you know, you got to park that, because I didn't think the competitiveness was there for the Rangers on a night where you wanted to keep this thing moving and have a 5-win-in-a-row start to the season.
Well, you're playing a team that's they're off to a great start, the Flames. So for the Rangers, they're coming home after a great road trip. They needed their best game to win this game, and they didn't get it. And at the same time, I think you have to give Calgary a lot of credit for how they played this game. Like you pointed out, the back check was unreal. I feel like every time the Rangers had an opportunity to create something, they were right there to force players to take early shots. When they did have some great opportunities, Markstrom played really well. They just played a really solid road game. And like I said, the Rangers needed their A game. They didn't quite get it tonight, and that's why they ended up with the loss.
Yeah, I've talked to Hank a lot after losses such as these, and he would be as complimentary of the opposition as he would be critical of his own team. And this looked like one of those nights where the Calgary Flames really deserved the credit for what they did. And it really started early, Steve. Most of that first period, the ice was shaped more like that than perfectly level. A lot of the time was spent in the Ranger zone, and that plus what they did early in the second allowed them to take a 2-goal lead.
You spoke to Hank a lot after losses?
Way more than I wish sometimes, and vice versa, I'm sure.
Well, it was the rush game, right?
Yeah.
It was the rush game for Calgary. They were moving quickly. The first period was tough for the Rangers to handle them. That's where they really had all of those giveaways and takeaways, and the Rangers had a hard time. They weren't closing. You know, they were defending and getting down on one knee and out of position, and you see Tanev score right there. That was a wide-open look that the Rangers just didn't have in this game. And here's a forechecking play that Mangiapane turns and has the wide-open side. I just think a lot of those opportunities were opportunities earned from Calgary. You just want to see that same effort and compete from the Rangers, I think, to put the game maybe a step closer.
But it's also a game of momentums, right? And the Rangers just scored that big goal, and you finally think, okay, the Rangers have the building behind them, the fans are loud, and it's an opportunity to change the look of the game. And right away, Calgary responds and kind of brings it back to exactly where they wanted the game to go. And they just, from there, they controlled everything.
Yeah, the goal was scored by Dryden Hunt to make it 2-1 in the third period, but it was set up by probably the most impactful or involved player on the Rangers all night, and that was Jacob Trouba. 10 shot attempts, 6 on goal. He led the team in hits, he led the team in blocks, and he led the team in ice time as well, which he doesn't often do with Adam Fox there. He was at least noticeable in a 5-1 loss.
He did the job of a captain. I noticed it in the last shift of the first period when he got really engaged physically and was taking ownership of the front of his net. I thought physically he was just really impactful, and he made his plays to the net, and he was doing his thing as far as pounding the puck when he had the opportunity to get it there, when Hunt was there, when Kreider was there. Physically, though, he just looked like he was ready to dominate and eat the Calgary Flames all night long. He was in everybody's face. That's why he was so noticeable out there, and partly because maybe he was one of the only Rangers doing it consistently. He was all over the score sheet, hitting, and you talked about his block shots. He was doing everything he could offensively, and he helped out here to get the puck there when Hunt eventually did score. He was doing everything he could.
He was great. He was really good tonight, and I felt like every situation he played 100%.
Yep.
There was not an off shift for Trouba tonight, and He really stood out. He was the Rangers' best player tonight.
But then, like you said, Hank, the Rangers figured, okay, we've got it to 2-1, third period. Intrigue, intensity for the next couple minutes. That shift after goal, you always talked about the importance of that. And yet it was the Flames who seemed to be more inspired. And less than 3 minutes later, they had their 2-goal lead back.
Yeah, I felt like this was the opportunity for the Rangers to really grab the game. This was it. Hunt scores, it's 2-1, and you're thinking about, okay, how are we going to play this next shift? And I think the guys that came over the boards played it pretty loose. There was offensive opportunities right away, and then when you see the play that was actually ending up as the goal, it was a play that comes out at the blue line. Gauthier has an opportunity to get it out. He gets a stick in the face from Pitlick, but Pitlick here keeps playing. And then he's on the hunt, and we're looking at a wide-open slot area where Gauthier twice misses his man. And I think that the younger guys on the team right now, they've got to play here with the details that are necessary to be able to run through a season. Check behind you. Where are people? Have a good stick. Play tight. I don't know where he was going there. He was fading off to the corner, and those missed assignments were ultimately the reason why it looked like there was more open ice for Calgary.